Good hello everyone, my name is Nathan, ELEMENTofFROST. Welcome back to yet another episode review of The Walking Dead. This one's doing my episode review on The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 11, entitled The Distance. That's right guys. Now, when I did my episode prediction video for this episode, obviously, when I was back on, obviously, Thursday, when I did this, obviously on February the 19th, I did an episode prediction video for this episode. And some of the things that I said in that prediction video, I was expecting to maybe happen during this episode, but most likely happening in the future of the season. But most of the things that I've actually said that were going to happen actually happened, guys, in this episode. And I'm very, very excited to share my thoughts with you guys, to give you guys an episode recap and an episode review, one basically for the century. This episode was absolutely nostalgic. I loved it. This episode was pretty much straight out of the comic book, and I loved every single second of it. Now, in this episode, basically the starting of it, Maggie and Sasha bring Aaron into the barn, and this is the guy that we seen at the end of episode 10 of The Walking Dead Season 5. Anyway, they bring Aaron back to the barn, where everybody's obviously sheltering, and everybody draws their weapons. Rick is on high alert, basically. He knows there's a new guy in here. Obviously, he could be a threat. He most likely is a threat. That's what Rick thinks. He's on high alert because of the fact there's just everything that has ever gone wrong, and that could go wrong has always gone wrong. There was Terminus. That turned out to be a place full of cannibals. There was Woodbury. They had a giant war with the governor over the past, Season 3 and Season 4. Or half of Season 4, but nonetheless. Anyways, everything that has been kind of too good to be true, Rick has now realized that it is literally, it's too good to be true. It's either a trap or, that's pretty much it. That's all he knows. That's all he knows. It's never anything good. That's what Rick has learned from this new world. But anyways, Aaron comes in. He kind of explains himself. He tries to convince them, sort of. He said that, I think you would all make valuable additions to the group. I want you to audition for membership. And Aaron actually, well, he gives Rick his pack, and he tells him that there's photos in there. So Rick takes them out. He starts to look at them, starts to examine the photos and everything like that. And Aaron keeps talking. He keeps trying to convince Rick, I think you guys would be valued members. This community is safe. They have walls. And Rick is not having any of it. Like I said, he's come to know that everything that is too good to be true is too good to be true. And he walks right up to Aaron and punches him right in the face. Knocks him out. Rick now, he tells the group to inspect his pack, and they actually find a flare gun. He finally wakes up, Aaron does. He sits up. Aaron says he's been following the group and reveals that he was the one who left them the water bottles in the center of the road during episode 10. That's, again, what I predicted. It was definitely him. I predicted that in the prediction video. I predicted that we would definitely come into conflict with what that was. And we finally get to know for sure that that was him. Like I said, I kind of seen it coming anyways. At Rick's sort of prodding or forcefulness, I guess, if you could put it that way, Aaron reveals that he came with only one companion. Only one. Rick basically says, after obviously Aaron got punched in the face by Rick, he basically says that it doesn't really matter how many people I tell you that are out there, whether it be 8, 42, just gives a bunch of random numbers. No matter what, you're not going to trust me. And Rick kind of knows that, but he just keeps persisting. How many people are out there? How many people do we have to worry about? Anyways, there's one guy. He only came with one person, and he reveals that he's a scout for this place, for this really, really safe, walled-in place that he wants their group to audition for. He's basically a scout, or like a recruiter, rather. Anyways, Rick doesn't believe him. Basically, when Aaron says that they parked their cars and their vehicles next to a road, basically, to kind of take them back if they decided to come with them and everything like that. Rick doesn't believe him, and Michonne insists that they verify his story by looking for the vehicles. And Rick basically says to Michonne, we don't have to verify it, you know, we don't have to be sure. And Michonne says that we do. Basically, she points out that, you know, while this could be dangerous, it's also dangerous not to take this opportunity and actually see if they're legit. Because if something happens that they are legit, if they are a legitimate group, if they are good people, if they have this community, you know, it's dangerous not to take them up on this offer because of Judith, because of their group, because of the safety that relies on that community that Aaron is talking about. Basically, Michonne insists that they verify Aaron's story by looking for the vehicles. Glenn, Abraham, and Rosita and Michonne, they all go looking. Rick basically instructs everybody else to pair off and leave the barn, so they're all not, quote, sitting ducks. And basically to get to a high vantage point, you know, have a good shot, have a good look at the woods, you know, everything like that. Make sure that if they know that they're coming. Rick is now in the barn with Aaron, alone with baby Judith. Next part kind of gets pretty cool, but also really paranoid of Rick as well. Anyways, they leave the barn and everything like that. From a distance, a man watches Michonne, Glenn, and Abraham and Rosita set down off the road, kind of looking for the cars and stuff like that. We get to see a guy kind of looking at them, kind of scouting them out. You know, I'm kind of assuming at this point that this was Aaron's person that he was traveling with, because remember he said that he only had one person that he was traveling with, and I believe this was him. So back at the barn now, Judith is basically crying for hunger. Rick is trying to squash up some nuts at the same time, holding baby Judith in one arm, using an axe to squash up some nuts. Aaron offers Rick applesauce from his backpack, and you know, obviously feed Judith, feed the baby. Rick basically forces him to eat some to prove that it isn't poisoned. Aaron tells Rick that the walls of his camp are so secure that nobody on the outside would ever hear Judith cry. Anyways, Aaron, there's like a big applesauce story about how Aaron doesn't like applesauce. Needless to say, he did eat a little bit of the applesauce, and you know, Rick actually fed Judith with it. So that was one key to starting to trust this guy, to starting to trust Aaron. You know, while it is good to be very, very protective of your group and of your family, like Rick is being, this is exactly how I would work too. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have punched the guy out. I'm not really sure what that would have accomplished other than just knock him out so he can't listen to any other questions. I guess maybe to put a bit of a scare tactic into him, that probably would work a bit. But nonetheless, keeping a level hit I think would have worked a little more, in my opinion, but nonetheless. Anyways, on the road now, Michonne's group locates Aaron's vehicles, a car and a RV. Basically parked where Aaron said they would be and everything like that. So Michonne points out to Glenn, you know, he didn't lie. You know, he was telling the truth. And everybody kind of agrees. So Abraham and Rosita now check the RV and find canned food inside. Back at the barn now, everyone except Rick is convinced that Aaron is telling the truth. Rick finally agrees to check out Aaron's community, and he asks for a map. Aaron refuses basically to tell him the location, and I completely 100% understand why Aaron does this. You know, it's not because he's being sneaky, it's not because he's not trustworthy, it's because while they don't know Aaron, he also doesn't know them. What could happen if they tell him the location of their community, and then they just kill Aaron, they go there, they could kill everybody, and then they could just take their community? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? I'm completely with Aaron on this side. You know, I'm completely with Rick, but I also understand why Aaron is doing it. You know, that if I was Aaron, that's also what I would do. You know, you want to join my group, you have to do it my way. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just tell you the location, because you could totally kill me and then go back to the community, unexpectedly kill everybody else in there, and then take the community for your own. Obviously, that's not something that you want to happen because you care about your family as well. It's just, it's point and fact, basically. Anyways, like I said, he refuses to divulge the location. He gives initial directions, basically telling them to take Highway 16. And Rick basically declares that they'll leave at sundown via an alternate route. Very smart by Rick, but at the same time, it can be very dumb. Okay? So, The reason why it's smart to take an alternate route other than the one that Aaron already said was clear, which was Route 16, and Rick is wanting to take Route 23, is because Route 16 was cleared. Okay, apparently Aaron and everybody like that, they cleared it of walkers. There's nothing on it at all. That's the route that they try to, basically get in and out of their community with. And Route 23 has not been cleared. And we get to find out exactly why Rick should have took Route 16 as opposed to Route 23. While people can be dangerous, they could get there unexpectedly and, they could get attacked by the group. But on Route 23, well, let's just say it wasn't clear, basically. So, that night anyways, they basically go to Aaron's community. In Rick's car, Michonne asks Aaron how many people that he's killed. Aaron says 2, and because they try to kill me. She basically asks him the 3 questions. That's just a generalization. I'm not going into great detail about one little scene. Then the car suddenly runs into a giant, and when I say giant, I mean giant herd or pack or road full of walkers. That's right, guys. This road was not clear whatsoever. It actually proved to be a little more dangerous than the opposable Route 16. Like I said, Route 16, it could have been dangerous from people. Rick never knew that. I get why he wanted to take a different direction, just like he took a different direction. Like when going to Terminus, he didn't go straight to the front door. He went over the fences, he went on the sides, everything like that, so he wasn't seen. It's very, very, very smart. Now, he takes this alternate route. They go into a herd of walkers, and basically they lose sight of the others who were following them in the RV. They were in a car, and everybody else was in an RV. Glenn, Aaron, Michonne, and Rick, they were all in one little car, and everybody else was following in that big RV. Glenn now tries to restart the car, but the engine fails. In the distance, a flare lights up in the sky. Aaron basically, when he sees this flare, he says that, this is over. And he basically kicks the door open of the car. His hands are still tied behind his back. He kicks the door open of the car, and he starts fleeing into the woods. This could be a distress signal from maybe one of his people that he needs to get to. That's what I thought originally, initially, basically, and that actually is what it turned out to be. So Glenn tries to restart the car. Like I said, Aaron says this is over. He flees off into the woods. Michonne was out trying to clear the grill of the car of walker parts and everything like that. You should have seen the car. They ran over a lot of walkers. They just kept going and going and going, and it was caked. And I mean caked in blood. Now, anyways, in the woods, basically, Glenn finds Aaron fighting off a walker. Obviously, Aaron's hands are still tied behind his back. After a moment of hesitation, Glenn rescues him. They basically join up with Rick and Michonne. They're busy fighting walkers. They're just about to get overrun, and Aaron and Glenn, Glenn gives Aaron a gun, and they both shoot the walkers down. And Aaron basically says, if you want to tie me up again, Rick, go for it, but be fast about it, because we have to go. And Rick basically says that, we don't have time. He warns Aaron that he will kill Aaron's people if this diversion turns out to be a trap. So they get back to the road, and they take Route 16. Now, obviously on foot, because they lost the car on Route 23, thanks to Rick. That's honestly, I would have done the same thing. It would have sucked if you had seen a bunch of walkers there, but it's definitely... It's a safer path up to an extent, but it just turned to be really, really unlucky at the time. So now, anyways, later in a nearby town, Aaron basically whistles, and someone whistles back in response. Carl runs out of a building and hugs Rick. Kind of Daryl knocks on the door of the warehouse or something like that, and they find the rest of the group inside of a warehouse. Daryl kind of knocks on the door, lets them know that they're there. And they all meet up. They all have fun. Aaron dashes inside and kisses his friend, his companion that he traveled with. Only one person, Eric, his boyfriend. That's right, guys. Aaron is gay, and so is Eric. Pretty obvious. Now, anyways, he was actually gay in the comic book too. Actually, we found out a little later. We found out pretty much right off the bat in the show. as opposed to the comic book. But nonetheless, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's just, it's normal. Now, this is actually the first gay character that we've actually seen in The Walking Dead, so I think it's pretty cool that they're kind of starting to expand The Walking Dead a little more to more sort of cultures and, diversities and, stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, he goes in there, he kisses Eric. Eric basically explains that he broke his ankle. Obviously, his ankle was up, levitated and everything like that. Basically trying to heal his group, Maggie, everything like that. They do what they could for Eric. They actually saved Eric because, he broke his ankle, and they actually saved him. They pulled him into the warehouse. He was surrounded by walkers when he set off the flare. Aaron goes out now, and he thanks Rick's group for saving Eric and suggests that they head to his community, Alexandria, the next morning. And everybody agrees, even Rick agrees. So, Alexandria, the Alexandria safe zone, it is real. It is in the TV show now, guys. It is. Now, moving on. The next day, the group basically goes to Alexandria in the RV. Aaron notes that Noah's limp, and he basically notes Noah's limp. Noah brought him medication, everything like that. And they said that he has a gifted surgeon in Alexandria that might be able to help. And that's a little bit of a sign of hope for Noah. He likes that idea of getting help, basically. Abraham basically notices a, quote, low voltage sign on the RV's dashboard shortly after. He basically says, we can make it, and then cut to the next scene where they were broken down on the side of the road. The battery was dead. Basically, Glenn gets out, and this was a little bit of a nod, and I loved this part. It was very, very cool. It kind of choked me up a little bit when this part came around. Obviously, it was an RV. This is an RV. Glenn has some experience with the RV. The whole group obviously does, leading back to Season 2, and Season 1 with Dale. Obviously, back in Season 2 on Herschel's farm, they had the RV and everything like that. And, Dale actually sort of taught Glenn how to repair the RV, if something ever went wrong. I don't know if you guys hear my dogs in the background, but anyway, sorry about that. Nonetheless, he kind of, he points Abraham. Abraham's basically saying, the battery's dead. Where are we going to find another battery? Glenn points to where a spare battery is stored in the RV. And Abraham basically says, well, how the hell did you know that? And then Glenn just smiles. He doesn't say anything. He just smiles, obviously nodding back to Dale in Season 2 and everything like that. Like I said, kind of giving it a nod. And that part was pretty cool. I like that. So it was a little bit of a tribute to Dale, kind of a little bit of a reference, if you will, to people who watched the show when the show first came around, Season 1 and Season 2, ever since the pilot. Like I said, I very, very, very much like that. So now, anyways, Rick darts into the woods and stashes a gun outside of an abandoned house. Very, very smart idea. We've seen this happen during Terminus. We've seen him stash a bag of guns outside of Terminus. We've seen him bury it in the woods. He does the same thing here. He puts it inside of a blender outside of an abandoned house. Like I said, very, very smart idea. He's always being cautious. This is his family that he's worrying about, and rightfully so. This is something I would do too. Now, when the group finally pulls up to the Alexandria's gates, they hear the sounds of people and children on the other side. This was a very, very, very good sign for Rick. He's kind of starting to realize that this place is actually real, that this place is a thing. If he hears the sound of children, something that was previously too good to be true seems like it's finally becoming true. You know what I mean? So Michonne smiles at Rick now and asks if he's ready. He says that he is. He parks the car. Rick goes to the back, picks up Judith, and the group walks toward the gate. Carol, again, giving a still nod to Rick, saying that when she's passing Rick, she says, even though you were wrong, referring to the fact that obviously this place is a thing, and that Aaron wasn't a bad guy after all, you were still right. Again, very, very smart and very, very true by Carol. You need to take those proper precautions now in this type of world. You need to be able to know the difference, and be able to distinguish whether a guy is good or not. everything that Rick has known up until this point has been everything, and everybody that has ever promised him a good sanctuary has been completely 100% false and 100% deceiving. Always wanted to kill them or eat them, or some other way like that. And Rick is very, very right to be cautious and to be protective of his group. Again, something that I would do 100% in a heartbeat. Now, Rick and Carol and everybody, they walk towards the gate. Rick and Judith join the others at the entrance to Alexandria. It kind of cuts to a little bit of a wide shot to the whole group. Aaron's up at the front with Eric and everything like that. Aaron is kind of helping Eric, kind of carry him with like an arm over his shoulder and everything like this. And they go up to Alexandria, and that's where the episode cuts off, guys. That's where it kind of fades to black. And that's pretty much it for this episode. So like I said, in my episode prediction video for this episode of The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 11, The Distance, I did say that they might make it to Alexandria, guys. We didn't get to see inside of Alexandria, but they did make it to Alexandria. They are there now. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, feel free to hit the video with a like, share it with your friends, tell me in the comment section below what you guys thought of last night's episode. Did you guys enjoy it? I absolutely loved it. It was so much nostalgia involved in it, just because I read the comic book up until the current date. And I don't know. I'm really starting to love this TV show. I've loved it since the pilot, but just because it's starting to catch up to what I'm reading now, it's starting to get more recent, in my mind and everything like that. So yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it. Have a little discussion of what you guys thought of the episode. Tune in to Thursday on my channel to see my episode review of The Walking Dead, or no, my episode prediction, sorry, of The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 12, Remember. This is obviously when they're getting into the Alexandria gates, which again, I'm pretty and very, very excited for. I can't wait to see what Alexandria is like, to see what the people are like inside of it in the TV show. I know a few characters already. Aaron and Eric do exist in the comic book, and they brought them finally to the TV show, which makes me very, very, very excited. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, like I said, and if you did, feel free to hit the video with a like, share it with your friends, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Alright guys, there's only 5 episodes left in Season 5. That's right, guys. There's only 5 episodes left. And then, unfortunately, we're off for a 6-month break until we come back in October. But nonetheless, we still got a few episodes to go at least. So, stick around. Watch my episode predictions. Watch my episode reviews. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, guys. Bye.